Good evening. I'm Mark Sforzini from the St. Petersburg Opera Company. Thank you for joining me tonight for this Facebook Live session. Last night, we aired Act 1 of our 2019 production of Madama Butterfly, and tonight we aired Acts 2 and 3. It started just a little late, so if you were tuned into that broadcast, you're just probably finishing the end of the opera right about now. I created a theme song for these Madama Butterfly live chats based on the song Love, with music originally by Bert Kaempfert, sort of one of my favorite jazz songs. Nat King Cole made it very popular. And it seems appropriate to me to repeat that song one more time since we are still talking about Madama Butterfly tonight. I also had some issues with the camera. Imagine that, technical issues. And I'm hoping I've resolved these camera issues tonight. So we are going to give you the Facebook Live song one more time with the grand entrance and everything. So let me pull up the little soundtrack here, and we're going to give you the Facebook Live Madama Butterfly song one more time. Here we go. L is for the likes and loves you send. I is for this isolation to end. V is very, very wrapped up in my glass of sherry. And E is everything I meant to say and lost my way. And live is all that I can give to you. Facebook Live, where we can share a song or two. You can help me bear it. Watch this show and please do share it. Live was made for me and you. Tonight, Madama Butterfly, starring Zoya Gramagin as Cho-Cho-san, Sam Hall as B.F. Pinkerton, Sahoko Timpone as Suzuki, and Daniel Schofield as Sharpless. L is for the love they consummate. I is I will wait and wait and wait. V is very scary. In Act 3 there's Harry Carey. And E is even more than shoo-ba-da-ba-doo-ba-da-ba cho-cho-san. Opera's my favorite form of art, and these singers sing it from the heart. A heart in art can break, but please don't take my heart away. Tonight it's live for you and me. Live was made for you and me. And don't forget Perry Sussman as the wife, Madama Butterfly. There you go. There you go. Hello, all you opera cats and gattini dolci. Get your notebooks ready tonight because we've got some content to talk about, and there's going to be a test afterwards. I'm just kidding about the test. Now, there's some GIFs going crazy on my screen over here. Okay, we got rid of that. Hi, Gloria. Nice to see you tuning in. Mirella, great to see you tuning in. All right. So, I know some of you have probably watched the Madama Butterfly that just aired, but I also know from looking at the analytics that some of you will probably watch this live show first and then go find the Madama Butterfly to view on YouTube because it's going to be up for a whole week. It doesn't matter what order you do this in. I think the information we're going to talk about tonight is still fun and relevant in any case. So, tagging on to last night, I mentioned that Puccini wrote 5 versions of Madama Butterfly. Imagine that. You write a piece and then you revise it 4 times to get it just so. The first version was done in 2 acts in 1904. The 5th version, which we know as the standard version today, was done in 1908. So I promised I would tell you what the substantial changes were over the course of going from the first version to the 5th version. So probably the biggest change is that in the first version, there was just an Act 2, but Act 2 got split up to become Act 2 and Act 3. And the humming chorus was created to end Act 2. Now, the humming chorus, that's one of my favorite parts of the entire opera. What leads into the end of Act 2 is a cannon shot is heard in the harbor, announcing the arrival of a ship in the harbor. And Butterfly looks out and she sees the name of the ship. It's Pinkerton's ship. She reads through the telescope. So Butterfly and Suzuki are overjoyed at the return of Pinkerton. And Butterfly and Suzuki sing a beautiful duet, the Flower Blossom Duet, where they decorate the house with flower petals from the garden. And then night falls, and Butterfly and Suzuki and the child Dolores settle into a vigil watching over the harbor. And the humming chorus it's quite simple. It has no words, you just hum. And it goes like this, the first phrase. That's the first part of the humming chorus, and we're going to talk about that more later. So that was a big change, breaking Act 2 into 2 separate acts. Another big change was that by the 5th version, Kate Pinkerton, Pinkerton's American wife, had substantially less music than the earlier revised versions, and you would not have seen Kate Pinkerton last night in Act 1. She only appears in the final act. Perry Sussman was our Kate Pinkerton. And in the original version, Kate Pinkerton was part of a quartet with the characters of Suzuki and Sharpless and Pinkerton. But by the 5th version, this quartet had been scaled down to a trio, and Kate Pinkerton was left out of that. So that was a change. Another substantial change was the addition of an aria for Pinkerton in now what is known as Act 3. And that aria is Addio Fiorito Asile. Goodbye, flowery garden refuge. He returns to the house, and it's more than he can bear. And he sings that I am guilty, I have broken her heart, I am a coward, I must flee. This aria was supposed to make us feel, maybe more sympathetic towards the character of Pinkerton. However you feel in that regard, undoubtedly this added aria for the tenor in the final act pleased the Italian opera public because at the time of the first premiere of 1904 at La Scala, the Milan crowd booed the performance. And one of the things they complained about, they felt it was lacking in traditional song structure. So at least the Italian opera-loving public loved the addition of this tenor aria in the final act, and I think it was a good choice. That aria, the melody goes, Addio fiorito sil, dilettizia ed amor. So you might recognize that famous aria. And the last major change I want to tell you about is that there was less music in Act 1 for the relatives. The relatives are some lesser-known characters. There's an Uncle Yakuside, the cousin, the aunt, and the mother. And that was probably a good choice too, although it always makes me sad because usually you have some great singers singing these relative parts. And a quick shout out to our relatives. Jake Skipworth was the Uncle Yakuside, Sarah Mangrum was the cousin, Pelu Ni was the aunt, and Alexandra Riddims was the mother. So in the final version, there was less music for those characters to sing. So there you have it. There are the what I would call the major revisions from the first version to the 5th version. And I think now would be a good time to quickly say thank you to the show sponsors for that production of Madama Butterfly in 2019. Without these wonderful sponsors, these shows would not be happening. That's Michelle Kidwell Gilbert and Dr. Gordon Joel Gilbert, Morella Chimato in honor of Norman Smith, Marilyn J. Ward, and the Tampa Bay Times. So thank you to those individuals and the Times for their sponsorship of the St. Petersburg Opera Company. So let's see how we're doing here and who else might be tuning in, see if we have any questions yet. Hi, Carl. Diana, great to see you. Looks like Jake. Hi, Jake. We just talked about you, Jake. Great to see you there. Natalie, great to see you there. Thanks for tuning in. Todd Von Felker. Oh, wow. Great to see that you're here, Todd. Todd was our sharpless in the 2011 Butterfly. Awesome. Yakuside here. Yes. This is fun. You know, you do this show and then you see some of these comments pop over on the left. So glad to see that so many good friends are watching. So the other thing I said I would talk about tonight is the use of Japanese folk songs. Puccini studied Japanese music and became familiar with folk songs, and he uses about a dozen of them quite liberally throughout the opera, either quoting them or paraphrasing them, using snippets of them here and there, sometimes quoting some of them for very long extended passages. So even though there's about a dozen of these, I want to focus on three that I picked out. I picked out three just for you. The first one, Ichigo Yishi, which translates in English, the Lion of Ichigo. This was originally composed in 1811. I picked this one first because I suspect it might be Puccini's favorite. He uses it a lot throughout the opera, and it's the only one that he uses in all three acts. So this, I'm going to turn here to the keyboard, and this melody, what's unique about this melody is that in the lower octave of the melody, it uses an F natural, but in the upper octave, it uses an F sharp. So this would be the same note in the upper octave. This is the F sharp in the upper octave, this upward thrust. And Puccini likened these three notes as a recurring symbol of Butterfly's ultimate tragic destiny. So here is that tune. And this is still, it was written in 1811. It's been played by all kinds of different instrumental ensembles, but it is also a song, and it is also frequently done as a solo koto piece. Let's start that one more time. F natural. So the one folk song Puccini used in all three acts, and this upward thrust to the F sharp, these three notes represent Butterfly's ultimate tragic destiny. The second song I want to talk about is Miya-san. This music is associated mostly with the character of Yamadori. Yamadori was played by Mark Tempesta, and his character only appears in Act 2. Butterfly is a strong woman, and she knows what she wants and what she believes, and she believes Pinkerton's coming back for her. She will not take Yamadori. But the arrival of Yamadori and his interlude in the opera features this song, and this song is Miya-san, and it goes like this. So you probably recognize that from the opera. And the words, the Miya-san was a propaganda piece urging an expedition, a revengeful expedition to Korea. The lyrics translate something like this: "My prince, what is it that is dancing back and forth in front of your horse? Haven't you heard? It is the banner of the emperor leading us forward on the punitive expedition to Korea." So I think Puccini knew exactly what he was doing, choosing a propaganda song to represent the character of Yamadori. I think that Puccini saw his heroine Cho-Cho-san as really a strong young woman who would not give in to the pressure of those around her. And she believed very deeply that Pinkerton was going to return and she was not going to be swayed by everyone else. The third song I wanted to talk about is in English, it's called the Foreboding Tune. The Japanese title is Shiryobushi, and this song is a very important song. It was popular in the 1880s and 1890s. And if you remember last night, I told you that Madama Butterfly was based on an American story by author John Luther Long, who had based his story on a semi-autobiographical novel, Madame Chrysanthème, a French novel from the 1880s. But John Long translated the words of the song Shiryobushi to include them in his story, Madama Butterfly. And the words go, joy of meeting, sorrow of parting. If only there was just meeting and no parting. And then the John Long story became the basis for David Belasco's play Madama Butterfly, which was done in 1900, which Puccini saw done in America. And that's what inspired Puccini to do the whole Madama Butterfly opera in the first place. But these lyrics are so important. The joy of meeting, sorrow of parting, if only there were just meeting and no parting. Shiryobushi occurs in Act 2 when Butterfly sings her famous aria Que tua madre, and the other place it's featured prominently is the very end of the opera. The tune is played fortissimo by the full orchestra at the very end of the opera. I think I'll play from the score. Let's go here to my Madama Butterfly score. And this is the very end of the opera. So he ends the opera, and he obviously knew what the text of this aria meant, joy of meeting, sorrow of parting, if only there were just meeting and no parting. What's also interesting is the final chord of the opera, which I did not play just now. The final chord of the opera is this. Wow, that just sounds like a happy G major chord. But you haven't heard it in the context of the melody, which is actually in B minor, with the B and the bass, which casts that chord in a new context. It's as if this G major suddenly becomes a bold chord, leaving the listener suspended in midair. Here are those last few bars now with the final chord added. Doesn't sound so happy anymore, does it? So that's quite the ending for the opera, and that's Shiryobushi. So those are the three songs. Oh my gosh, I just saw a friend from high school wrote a message liking tonight's show. Mike Shands. Hello, Mike Shands played the trombone in the band with me. Oh, so great to see so many friends popping up here on Facebook Live. So real quick, I know I introduced the cast before, but I just want to say quickly who they all are again. So Hoko Timpone is our Suzuki. Daniel Schofield is our Sharpless. He's the American consul in Japan. Zoya Gramajan is Cho-Cho-san. Sam Hall, B.F. Pinkerton. Now, you go to a live performance of Madama Butterfly, and you sometimes hear on the curtain call people boo when Pinkerton comes out, and you need to understand that they're not booing the singer's performance. They're booing the character of B.F. Pinkerton because a lot of people dislike the character. But that booing usually has nothing to do with the performance, and our Sam Hall certainly gave a magnificent performance as B.F. Pinkerton. We talked about Perry Sussman as Kate Pinkerton, the American wife. Stephen Steffens plays Goro, the marriage broker. Andrew Potter is the religious leader, the Bones, who is only in the Act 1. The Bones is a great sing because you sing in Act 1 and you get to go home early. And Mark Tempesta was our Yamadori, so that's the cast. I'm going to take a look here and see if we have any questions. Let's see. Somebody from SPO's writing in such dramatic composition. Yes, I think Puccini really did know his craft. Just going to scroll through here real quick and see if there's any questions that anybody wants before we wrap up the performance. Carl Hesser was the stage director for this show. And let's see here. All right. Well, I don't see any questions, so I'm going to go ahead and move into our final segment. I do want to say that we are struggling at St. Petersburg Opera during these difficult times, and we would greatly benefit from a gift of any amount. No gift is too small. You can log on to our website, stpetopera.org, and go to the Support SPO section, and there's a lot of different ways you can choose to support St. Pete Opera. I know we all want to get back to live in-person shows, concerts, and events, but right now we have to wait. So I want to close tonight's show with the humming chorus from Madama Butterfly. Many of you know this tune. There are no words, you just hum. How do I know you know it? Because I've heard and watched you hum it with me at Maestro Series events in the past. So while we patiently in our isolation, we hold on to visions of a brighter day where we will all share our talents together in person. So we're going to finish tonight with the humming chorus from Madama Butterfly. And I'm going to pull this up here, and I'm even going to get you started with a little bit of conducting here. So the speaker's on. Big breath. Thank you for joining me. I'm Mark Sforzini, signing off for St. Petersburg Opera Company, keeping our listeners and our artists in our hearts. See you again soon.